In the frozen ice age, a cave bear charges, met by a fearless Neanderthal. Survival here forged humans of extraordinary strength and resilience. Neanderthals were shaped by cold, hunger, and colossal predators, and part of them still lives in many of us today. They thrived across Europe and Western Asia for over 350,000 years. Their world was colder, harsher, and far deadlier than ours. Glaciers advanced and retreated, reshaping their entire environment. Winters were brutal. Food was scarce. Every day was survival. In such a world, strength was not a gift. It was a necessity. From afar, they looked human. But up close, everything changed. They were shorter on average, about 14 centimeters below us today. Yet compared to ancient humans, they were equally tall or taller. The tallest known individual, Amud Fatra I, reached approximately 5 feet 10 inches or 1.78 meters. Fossils show only part of their height range. We still don't know it fully. Their real difference wasn't height, it was mass. Males averaged roughly 175 to 187 pounds, while females weighed about 132 to 154 pounds, equivalent to 80 to 85 kilograms and 60 to 70 kilograms, respectively. They were roughly 20% heavier than similar-sized humans. This mass came from dense muscle and remarkably thick bone. Some bones were nearly twice as dense as ours. Wide shoulders, deep chests, powerful legs. Their bodies radiated strength. Their skeletons show a design for impact and survival. Their arms, especially, were massive, built for explosive force. Even untrained, they may have matched modern strength athletes. Carrying about 60 pounds, equivalent to roughly 27 kilograms, across nearly 30 miles, or close to 50 kilometers, was likely part of everyday life. Such strength was essential. They hunted face to face with huge animals. Neanderthals hunted at dangerously close range, relying on heavy thrusting spears. These spears were thick, sturdy weapons designed for powerful impact. Using such weapons required immense arm strength and explosive power. Their hunting style turned every encounter into a dangerous battle. They faced megafauna, rhinos, wild horses, and even mammoths. Unlike us, they lacked long-range weapons. Getting close was unavoidable. This constant danger explains their thick bones and massive muscles, and it explains the many healed injuries found on their skeletons. Nearly 80% to as many as 94% of individuals had serious injuries. Fractures came from heavy impacts, broken limbs, cracked ribs, injured faces. Some survived lost limbs or eye injuries and lived long afterward. One skull even shows bone sealing the ear canal, proving total deafness. These healed wounds show strong social care within their groups. Many injuries came from animals defending themselves, not hunting Neanderthals. Bears, big cats, and wolves were frequent sources of such trauma. These confrontations happened because Neanderthals attacked large animals directly. Their lives demanded constant strength, endurance, and risk-taking. Their bodies became natural armor. Dense bones and reinforced joints. Even their skin and hair adapted, likely thicker, for cold protection. Their joints allowed powerful movements most modern humans cannot perform. Their hands were broader, with a thumb angled for strong gripping. They excelled at gripping heavy tools, but fine precision was limited. To compensate, they used their front teeth as a third hand. Tooth wear reveals constant clamping, pulling, and tool handling. Their entire anatomy reflected a life built on effort, danger, and survival. Beneath that powerful frame lay another secret: a huge barrel-shaped chest. This deep chest housed lungs significantly larger than those of modern humans. On average, Neanderthals had about 20% more lung capacity than us. One famous skeleton, Kibara II, is estimated to have had 9-liter lungs. For comparison, even elite athletes today rarely reach 8.5 liters. Their enormous lungs powered heavy muscles and produced precious heat in freezing climates. Their noses were also large, long and wide, with spacious nasal cavities. Such noses warmed and moistened icy air before it reached their lungs. This design allowed rapid, intense breathing during hunts and snowstorms. To fuel such a body, Neanderthals needed enormous amounts of energy every day. Estimates suggest daily needs of roughly 4,500 to 6,700 calories per adult. Their lifestyle demanded constant movement, heavy work, and continuous heat production. If they lived today, food labels might need a special Neanderthal version. Despite this power, they were not designed for long-distance running. Their legs were relatively short, and their bodies heavy and compact. Wide toes helped push off quickly, excellent for sudden bursts of speed. But their long, slender Achilles tendons stored less elastic energy for running. Their muscles likely contained many fast-twitch fibers, made for strength, not endurance. In a sprint, a Neanderthal might overpower us. In a marathon, we would win. Beyond lungs and muscles, their heads hid another surprise: very large brains. On average, male Neanderthal brains reached about 100 cubic inches, or around 1,640 cubic centimeters. Female Neanderthal brains measured roughly 89 cubic inches, or about 1,360 cubic centimeters, which is larger than the average in many modern humans. On average, their brains were slightly bigger than ours, but not necessarily smarter. Much of their brains supported enhanced vision, smell, and control of a powerful body. Their large eyes, about 15% bigger, helped them see better in dim Ice Age light. Their heightened senses made them exceptional hunters in low light and dense forests. Vision, smell, and body awareness worked together as a powerful survival system. But their jaws and teeth reveal yet another unique adaptation, unexpected and ingenious. Their front teeth were large, strong, and heavily worn from constant use. These teeth acted almost like a third hand, gripping materials while both arms worked. Wear marks show pulling, twisting, and clamping motions, repeated thousands of times. This technique helped compensate for their less delicate finger movements. Their hands were built for strength, broad fingers, and a powerful, angled thumb. Such hands excelled at gripping heavy tools, weapons, and struggling prey. Their diet reveals even more about their power. They were hypercarnivores. Around 70% of their calories came from meat, far more than most humans. They hunted large herbivores and consumed not just flesh, but fat, organs, and bone marrow. In harsh winters, fat and marrow were vital fuel for their demanding metabolism. Recent studies even show they sometimes ate aged or partially decayed meat. This behavior wasn't primitive. It maximized calories during food shortages. Their bodies were engines that demanded constant fuel to survive Ice Age extremes. But Neanderthals shared more than land with modern humans. They shared DNA. Most people outside Africa today carry 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. These genetic fragments influence hair, skin, and certain immune responses. Their genes helped early humans adapt to colder climates and new pathogens. Despite this legacy, Neanderthals eventually declined as climates shifted rapidly. Their populations were small and scattered, vulnerable to extinction pressures. Competition and contact with Homo sapiens added further challenges. Some groups interbred, blending our histories permanently. And eventually, the last Neanderthals vanished, but not completely. They live on in us. Their disappearance remains one of the greatest mysteries in human history. No single cause ended Neanderthals. Several powerful pressures struck them together. Climate shifted rapidly, reshaping the landscapes they once mastered. Forests changed, animals migrated, and reliable hunting grounds disappeared. Small, scattered populations struggled to adapt to this new world. At the same time, Homo sapiens expanded across their territories. Our species brought new tools, social networks, and flexible strategies. These advantages gave us wider access to food and resources. For Neanderthals, competition increased over land, prey, and shelter. Encounters were not always violent. Sometimes they traded or shared space. In some regions, they interbred, permanently blending our genetic histories. Still, interbreeding could not reverse their decline. Their numbers stayed low. Small, isolated groups were vulnerable to disease, accidents, and famine. Even slight drops in births or small disasters could be devastating. Meanwhile, modern humans formed larger, more connected communities. Knowledge spread quickly, allowing rapid cultural and technological change. Over millennia, Neanderthals retreated into fewer, more remote refuges. Some of the last groups lived in caves along the Iberian coast. Archaeological layers reveal they survived there longer than elsewhere. Then, at last, their traces fade. No more tools, no more hearts. The last Neanderthals died, but their story did not truly end. Today, their genes persist inside us, influencing immunity, metabolism, and appearance. They were not savage brutes, but expert survivors of extreme environments. Their strength, resilience, and intelligence reveal a complex human species. Though gone, they remain with us, written quietly in our DNA, echoed in our bodies. Understanding their declaration leads us deeper into how Neanderthals actually lived together. Their fossils show they were highly social, supporting each other through hardship. Some individuals survived crippling injuries thanks to long-term group care. This compassion reveals a deep emotional world, more human than once believed. They traveled in small family bands, moving seasonally across Harsh landscapes. Shelters ranged from caves to simple outdoor camps built with stone and wood. Hearth remains show they mastered fire, returning to the same spots repeatedly. Their tools, though simple in appearance, were crafted with remarkable precision. They struck stone in controlled patterns to produce scrapers and spear tips. Some tools show hafting, stone edges fixed to wooden shafts using resin and sinew. Heat treatment appears at certain sites, proving they altered stone with fire. Their technology didn't stagnate. It adapted steadily to their environment. They also use pigments, like red ochre, stored in lumps or powdered form. Some pigments likely decorated bodies, tools, or symbolic objects. Neanderthals collected minerals, fossils, and shells with no clear practical use. Such selections hint at aesthetic sense, choosing objects for meaning or beauty. In some caves, carved lines and deliberate patterns appear on stone surfaces. These markings, though simple, reflect intentional design and symbolic thought. Burials at several sites reveal that Neanderthals sometimes buried their dead. Some graves include tools or bones, suggesting ritual or respect for the deceased. Whether symbolic or practical, these burials show awareness of death's meaning. Their culture held empathy, memory, and emotional depth rarely acknowledged before. Even in brutal landscapes, they built moments of connection and shared identity. Through craft, art, and ritual, Neanderthals expressed what it meant to be human. Their world was harsh, but their humanity was unmistakable and deeply familiar. Their humanity also appears in how they communicated, through voice, gesture, and shared memory. Studies of their throat and ear bones show they could hear speech-like sounds. Their vocal range likely allowed complex calls, warnings, and emotional tones. Though not identical to ours, their communication was rich and meaningful. They used gestures extensively, hand signs, nods, and coordinated movement. Their bodies, strong and compact, moved with surprising agility. Short legs and powerful hips gave stability on rugged terrain. Their wide feet and toes gripped the ground firmly during sudden bursts. Combined with great strength, these features made them fearsome close-range fighters. They could generate immense force with arms and torsos built for impact. Some scientists estimate they could bench press weights rivaling trained athletes. Their grip strength alone would overpower most modern humans. Yet they weren't simply brute force. They planned hunts with coordination and strategy. They tracked animal movements, weather patterns, and seasonal migrations. Their knowledge passed through generations, shaping a shared cultural identity. Music may have existed too. Flutes made from animal bones appear at some sites. Whether instrument or tool, it hints at creativity beyond survival. They likely imitated animal calls to coordinate hunts or avoid predators. Their emotional intelligence helped maintain group harmony, essential for survival. They comforted frightened children, supported the weak, and mourned their dead. These behaviors show a species with deep social complexity. Far from stereotypes, Neanderthals were thoughtful, organized, and emotionally rich. Their intelligence evolved for survival in brutal ice age realities. Strength and sensitivity existed together in every part of their lives. And in these traits, we recognize something familiar, something profoundly human. Their daily lives demanded constant problem solving and technical skill. They selected stones carefully, knowing which types fractured predictably. Many tools show standard shapes, evidence of shared knowledge across groups. Their scrapers and blades processed hides, wood, and meat efficiently. These tools enabled clothing warm enough to survive freezing nights. Fire was central to survival: heat, light, protection, and cooking. Charcoal layers show they maintained long-term hearths across generations. They used fire to cook meat, making calories easier to absorb. Heat also softened tough hides, making clothing production easier. Smoke kept insects away and helped preserve food during harsh winters. Firelight extended their evenings, time for repair, teaching, and sharing stories. Despite this complexity, Neanderthals were long portrayed as primitive. Early scientists misunderstood their anatomy, thinking they walked hunched. Modern research proves they walked upright, strong, and fully human. They were not slow thinkers either. Their brains handled demanding environments. Their intelligence focused on perception, movement, and survival strategy. Their tools may look simple, but they were suited perfectly to their world. Their physical strength reduced the need for delicate or long-range weapons. What appears primitive today was once optimal, efficient survival. Their abilities matched their world: cold, violent, and physically demanding. And in that world, Neanderthals thrived for hundreds of thousands of years. Their longevity reflects not weakness, but remarkable adaptation. From harsh mountains to icy plains, they mastered extreme landscapes. Their story challenges our assumptions about what it means to be human. And it reminds us, humanity has never been one shape, one path, or one species. Modern archaeology keeps revealing new clues about who Neanderthals truly were. Each discovery pushes them further away from the old, brutish caveman stereotype. At Shanidar Cave, skeletons show individuals living on after devastating injuries. This survival was only possible with sustained care from their group. At La Ferraci, burials appear deliberately arranged, suggesting ritual or symbolism. At El Cidrón, preserved DNA reveals related individuals traveling together as families. These sites show Neanderthals as social beings with memory, obligation, and care. Their hunting strategies were sophisticated, based on planning and shared roles. Animal bones bear marks of precise strikes to lungs, heart, or major vessels. Close-range spears demanded coordination. One mistake could be fatal. They regularly hunted massive herbivores like bison, rhinos, and sometimes mammoths. Such hunts explain why nearly 80 to 94% had serious injuries. Remarkably, most of Fibahit, these fractures healed, showing extreme resilience and support. Their environment demanded bodies that tolerated impact, pain, cold, and hunger. Survival depended on strength, but also on knowledge of land and animals. They read tracks, weather signs, and seasonal rhythms with expert precision. Fire pits show they cooked in organized ways, not randomly burning meat. Bone fragments revealed repeated marrow extraction, a planned high-calorie strategy. Stone anvils and hammerstones increased efficiency when processing large carcasses. Tool wear patterns prove repeated. Learned techniques passed through generations. Modern tests show their spears could penetrate deeply into thick hides. Combined with their strength, these weapons made them apex predators of their era. New discoveries keep shifting Neanderthals from primitive to specialized and powerful. Today, we see them as adapted humans, sculpted by a brutal Ice Age world. Their story is not one of failure, but of how far human evolution can go. Yet, despite everything we've learned, many mysteries of Neanderthals remain. Scientists still debate how they spoke, thought, and lived their final days. New technologies, DNA sequencing, CT scans, AI reconstructions, change the story each year. Each discovery reveals a species more capable and more human than expected. Evidence shows they made tools, used pigments, cared for others, and survived extremes. Their extinction was not weakness, but climate, chance, and small populations. Climate shifted faster than they could adapt, reshaping their world dramatically. Meanwhile, Homo sapiens expanded rapidly with innovation and flexibility. Sometimes extinction happens not through conflict, but simply through numbers. Yet their DNA endures, woven into our immune systems, metabolism, and traits. The genes subtly shape how millions of people look, feel, and respond to disease. In this way, Neanderthals never truly disappeared. They live on within us. Through our bodies, their endurance, strength, and ancient fire continue forward. Studying them reshapes how we see ourselves, our origins, and our potential. Their existence proves humanity was never one form, but many evolving together. And among these branches, Neanderthals stood strong, skilled, intelligent, deeply human. Their harsh world did not crush them. They built connection and meaning within it. They thrived for hundreds of thousands of years, despite brutal conditions. Their story is not tragedy, it is triumph, carved into ice, stone, and bone. Through us, their ancient journey continues, echoing across deep time. Their strength lives in our bones. Their courage beats within our blood. Their past shaped our present, linking our species across thousands of generations. To remember them is to remember ourselves and the vast story we all share. From ice and fire, struggle and hope, Neanderthals helped forge humanity's path. They were the giants of the Ice Age, powerful, intelligent, unforgettable.